Can women be preachers and pastors? The short answer is yes. You cannot read the Bible literally. You have to read it contextually. Now let's get into it. And the reason why we're having this conversation is because there are a lot of women that feel called to preach, but they feel that they're not supposed to. They're not allowed. It's a sin, right? And so I really want to speak to those women, okay? You do what God has called you to do. Now, the reason why a lot of people will tell you that women can't be preachers is because of certain scriptures, like 1 Timothy 2 verse 12, which says, I do not permit a woman to teach or have authority over a man. She must be quiet. Or 1 Corinthians 14, 34 to 15. It says women, that scripture says women should remain silent in churches. But this is important why you have to focus on context. For instance, those scriptures are situational, not universal. Paul was describing specific problems in the church. So a lot of women weren't educated and they were very disruptive with doing false teachings, right? So that is what that's speaking to. Those instructions are about order, not hierarchy. And even Paul himself allowed women to pray and prophesy publicly, which is seen in 1 Corinthians verse 11. Paul even worked alongside a lot of female leaders. This is the thing. Women in the Bible did preach, okay? They led and they prophesied in the Bible. Junia was called outstanding. Huldah, I struggle because certain things I don't say correctly, like I don't pronounce it correctly, but Huldah, okay? She was a prophet consulted by male priests and the king. If women weren't allowed to be leaders of the church, they weren't allowed to preach, they weren't allowed to have leadership roles, these situations would not have made any sense. And these situations actually came from the Bible. This is why it's important to not read literally, but to read contextually. The scriptures that say women should not teach men and women should be quiet and all that kind of stuff, that is a specific situation that Paul is addressing. But even if Paul himself worked alongside female leaders of the church, there is no way in the world that you can't be a leader of the church just because you're a woman. The truth of the matter is this actually destroys the way that a lot of churches like to be organized. They want male leadership, male dominance. They want men to be the ones of authority in the church, when it's sometimes women are the ones that do a great job in terms of being in leadership in the house of the Lord. And so I just really want to get into that because a lot of women are really struggling with that. You know, for a long time I struggled with that because I was told that women aren't supposed to do this and women aren't supposed to do that, when there are actually stories in the Bible that address women that are leaders of the church. Just know that if God is calling you, you are supposed to be doing this. And please do not let a patriarchal indoctrination be the reason that you don't do what God called you to do. There are men that have been called to lead, and there have been women that have been called as well.